How's it going? This is Mike McFarland, the ADR director and line producer of One Piece, and today we are here with yet another Straw Hat. For those watching, who are you, sir? And who do you play?
I'm actually a black hat, not a straw hat.
Oh, my bad.
Let's just be clear about that. I'm Chris Sabat, and I play Zoro.
What are your thoughts on Zoro? What do you think of him as a character?
I always liked Zoro from the very, very beginning. Back in the very earliest of days when Funimation wasn't even sure if they were going to get this show or not, I saw an early cut of it, and I love that character. Now, granted, I always like characters that have swords and or muscles, so yeah, I'm instantly drawn to playing characters like that.
Do you remember the initial round of auditions and the casting process and that earliest points of us were working on the show?
Well, you and I remember probably a different kind of a casting process than other people because we were involved in some like preliminary tests for the One Piece series.
Right.
But I remember there was a time when Funimation was testing to see where they wanted to do it, and they actually had a completely different cast. At that point, I was playing Helmeppo, and somebody else was playing Zoro, and I wanted to kill them. Not the director, but the person who was playing it, because I figured if I killed him, I'd be next in line.
Decide to rejoin us then?
Watch out!
Be careful, Captain! Huh? What's wrong? His head!
What about the rounds of recording initially when we were working on getting the show to Cartoon Network? We had the broadcast deadlines to meet, and it was myself and two other directors that were all working on the show at the same time. That was how we were thrown into One Piece.
Yeah, that was. I'll be honest. That was a bit of a confusing time because we were having to race so fast to get it done, and all three of you had slightly different ideas as to how broad the show was supposed to be and kind of what the idea of the show was to be.
It was my job to rein it in,
Yeah.
and make it all focused.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's always hard when a show gets split up between people because naturally people have subtly different ways of what they want to of handling things and what they want to hear. But yeah, it was pretty rapid fire then, and I remember we're starting pretty far into the series from what we originally we didn't start from episode 1. We started way
We
way
started
in.
from where the current broadcast had ended, and we were picking up at the very next episode, which was in the 140s.
Yeah, that was so confusing. That was like jumping into like the third movie of Lord of the Rings without ever reading the books and going, all right, so here we are. Let me try and explain to you all this stuff that may or may not have happened.
There's this ring, see?
Yeah. Yeah, it was really confusing at the start, but the good thing about the show is that it is really consistent. And what I like now about the show is that it's in a completely different place. It's still very consistent character-wise, but it's just in such a nice, dark place, a place where it hasn't been before.
It is in a dark place. The animation style has slightly changed. You can watch season to season and see how they've much like when you're watching The Simpsons or something, and see how they've honed in and given everyone a slightly different look, and not just like the clothes that they wear. Like the
They're a
character
little
designs are a
lankier
little different.
now and like cooler looking.
And it's one of the few shows where that we were working on anyway, where you actually see characters physically grow older and bigger.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Zoro, he seems to get lankier, but I'm having a hard time remembering if he's even changed that much physically, other than some nice stitches across his chest.
Chest is bigger. For sure.
Yeah, he's been working out a lot.
Yeah. Let's talk about some internal growth. How do you feel Zoro has grown as a character since the beginning of the show versus where he is now?
Well, the beginning of the show, Zoro's relationship with everyone else didn't feel like he really cared about anybody else at first.
He was the pirate hunter.
Yeah, he was the lone wolf then, and his job at the beginning was basically to point out how ridiculous Luffy was at every moment. But now it seems that whilst ridiculous stuff still happens, Zoro's really a big fan of the camaraderie that they have. He likes to try and keep the group together. He supports Luffy. That's one thing that I find interesting about the show too. No matter how ridiculous it might get, they still know that Luffy is the captain of the ship, and Zoro respects that. And he, even though it might be a weird decision, he'll go, "He's our captain. We gotta do what he does."
All right, men, let's go. We only get one shot. Set your sights on T-Bone. You ready?
Hold on!
What? We don't have time to hold on. He's gonna cut Rocket Man in half.
Jeez, there's nothing to worry about. Zoro's got this. Just watch.
They must be Nico Robin's crewmates. In that case, that swordsman is the pirate hunter. I am a proud captain of the Navy. I shall not let you pass. Be it wood or steel, I'll slash your ship in two.
Good luck with that one. We won't stop until we reach our goal. And I'll cut down anything in our way.
I was reminded of that during the Foxy episodes where they were having they're playing those games where if they lost, they had to join the other
Right,
the
they would
other
lose a
crew.
member.
And man, they're pretty serious about it. Like they took it very seriously. If like you were going over there, then boom, that was it. But it shows how much respect you actually do have to have for your captain. It's interesting that they have that. Anyway, Zoro seems to be growing up a little bit. He's definitely maturing, and he feels like an older character to me. They're relying less on goofiness and more on genuine conversation and some serious kind of content to take over now.
Besides Zoro, obviously, who is your favorite Straw Hat?
Wow, I don't know if I like any other Straw Hat besides Zoro. No, God, that's hard to say. Okay, no, it's not hard to say. It's hard to say anyone but Chopper. Chopper is hands down my favorite character.
Why is that?
He's so goofy, and he's such a ridiculous-looking character. You look at him for 1 second, and he's just funny-looking to me. He doesn't even have to say anything. And Chopper is always so... he means well, but he always screws something up really badly.
Chopper! Hey! Wait for me!
I'm close.
Chopper! Wait up! What's going on, damn it?
This way.
Hey, Chopper! Chopper! Are you all right?
Who's your favorite villain in the show so far?
We, admittedly, at the pace that we went through the first several seasons, it's hard for me to get to know the villains because a lot of the time Zoro doesn't really have a ton of interaction with the villain. He's half the time asleep on the ship and then shows up to fight one of the villain's underbosses, you know, when it goes into those moments of the series where they all break up into their individual fights. But the funniest one I've heard as of late, I don't know if it's just because it's the most recent one I've heard or it's just ridiculous, is in the most recent saga. What is his name?
Don't tell me you've never seen this face before.
Yeah, Foxy. That's what it
Foxy.
is. That character is funny. That is a funny man.
He's ridiculous.
Yeah, all those games were funny. Like the Foxy games were hysterical. I like the Eric, the guy who plays. Well, you know him. Eric and I have been trying to figure out a way to play that game where you stick a ball on your head and then someone
Throw
else.
the other person through it.
Yeah, so someone else threw a basket, but we haven't really gotten around to it yet.
I will now explain the rules of the Groggy Ring. We have a playing field, and we have 2 goals. Knock the ball into the goal, and you win. However, the ball isn't actually a ball. The balls are people. Both teams must select someone to be the ball. Make your selection.
You heard him. Which one of you 2 guys is gonna be the ball?
Ball marker.
Who said you get to pick? You're the ball, you moss-headed bastard!
What are some of the challenges you face playing Zoro, both emotionally and physically?
The hard part about playing Zoro, and you're really good about keeping me in check on this, is that it's very easy to just kind of want to play Zoro as this dark, brooding guy all the time. And even when you listen to the Japanese voice when we're previewing, a lot of time that guy's just always like really, really to himself. And I don't know if it's just culturally it's a different thing or they have a different sensibility, but to keep him in a low, quiet voice all the time would just make him boring. And you're really good at making sure that he stays fun and you can hear him, you know? Otherwise, he'd just be kind of quiet and one-dimensional all the time. But you're really good at pulling out the, hey, well, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. You probably should call this out a little bit more. Or, and there are moments where, even though Zorro is always the guy who doesn't want to participate, there's always those group moments where they're group moments of, let's do it, or whatever. And having to repeat those when we get to those sections, like, I'm for whatever reason, maybe because I always show up late or something, I end up coming at the end of your production cycle. So you usually play you have to play that moment and then have me repeat it. So it'll usually be like, let's get going, or whatever. And having Zorro read those moments is always so weird. Trying to, like, how can I find a way that Zorro might sound super enthusiastic when he's not really that enthusiastic of a guy. Those are the challenging parts of playing Zorro.
Anything else you'd like to tell the One Piece fans out there?
Guys, thank you so much for watching this. I'm sorry that I was so tired. If I see you in person, I promise I'll high-five you and I'll make up for it. Try to do your best in everything and don't get lost. That's what Zorro would say. And that's it. I don't know. It feels really awkward because the fans aren't talking to me right now. They're kind of ignoring me.
They're watching.
See, they won't say anything. Sorry.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Take care.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to On the Boat, behind the scenes of One Piece. And I have a straw hat with me. For those watching out there, let them know who you are and who you play.
My name is Sonny Strait. I am the voice of Usopp, soon to be a brave warrior of the sea.
At some point.
Yeah, he's almost there now.
Yeah. Tell me about Usopp. What are your thoughts on Mr. Usopp?
Well, Usopp is another one of those characters that I play several times, which is the coward who's really the brave guy because he faces his fears, you know, and he really is. I mean, I say this a lot because every character I get dies at Funimation,
Okay.
except the one that should die, which is Usopp. This guy can take a beating. I mean, he gets like hit. I mean, his nose has been broken 1,000,000 times.
Yeah.
He's had his whole body in a cast.
Yeah.
How many times?
Mr. Bandages left and right. Yeah.
He's like the evil Knievel of anime. And he's still going.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just gets better and better.
You just keep on dreaming.
Robin, this isn't the best time for reading.
I'm rowing too.
Well, yeah, your hands are, but you're not really focused on it.
Right, Robin? You don't want to end up like me, right? Better work hard.
I am working hard.
Do you recall anything of the earliest days of working on One Piece, the audition process, and maybe recording that video game and maybe the first couple of episodes? Do you recall that period of time?
You know, we were given, we did the auditions here, and you were told, what, to pick like 5 actors for each character?
Well, I was told to send in like the top 5, you know, and who had the best audition, who most closely represented the character on screen and the seiyuu, and maybe even a tip of the hat to the previous dub, and kind of mix all of those ideas together for the new voice.
Right, so then they sent these to Japan, the recordings to Japan, and Japan decided who was going to be in
The
it.
entire country.
Well, they had a vote. It was like a national vote. Yeah, I won the election.
Yeah.
For Usopp.
We really met them! I swear it!
But I remember at the
Works
audition,
out well that way.
we were told we had to sound as close to the Japanese as possible on that audition.
Right. Well, it's within reason. It still needs to be your own character, whatever else. But like, if your voice naturally sits in a place that's very close to the Seiyu, then that would be very nice.
Well, I remember in that audition, you had to go to the restroom halfway through my audition. That's a first too. I never see the director say I got to go to the bathroom, but you left, and then you might have to do something like director job thing.
That seems more likely than I'm going to interrupt.
I'm going to take a leak.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Excuse me. I got to go.
I have to go talk to a man about an ocean. Yeah.
But when you left, I turned to the engineer and I said, play that a few hundred times before he gets back. So he played the Japanese in my ear, so I kind of cheated. By the time you got back, I kind of knew how he should sound.
Well, that's very unfortunate.
No, I have to be. You're going to take that part away from me
you're
now?
a cheater.
I am a cheater.
That's very Usopp of you.
I know, I got in.
I still won.
I won! It's typecasting.
Hey, I think we're moving.
Stupid government jerkwads!
Now, what so far has been your favorite moment with Usopp? Either like a scene or something that you recorded or the way that something turned out. What have been some of your favorite moments with Usopp?
Well, I mean, one of the top moments is when he sings his theme song, you know. That is awesome. But that's not my favorite moment.
Okay. That's a good one, though.
My favorite moment is when he and Luffy are wearing the afros.
Okay.
And he's telling him about, you know, if you know, through the ages of time, we don't know if it's the afro that makes the man or the man that makes the afro. I just thought that was beautiful.
You listen up, Luffy, and you listen up good. You ain't your old self no more. You put that boy to bed, and now you're gone and woken up a man. Just like that hairstyle's woken up your wild side. Since the dawn of time, man has wondered if the champion makes the afro or the afro makes the champion. But that's a question even modern science can't answer. Now listen, that afro on your head, your fists are weapons of mass destruction.
Yes, the silly fight at the end of the Davy Back fights.
Oh, that was awesome. But, you know, the Sniper King song is pretty cool.
It is
Being able to
pretty
sing
awesome.
that. And I love that he sings it in his head as well as you get to see his imagination. So
Yeah.
he's just off. "I'm sorry."
Yeah, you see the montage of what he thinks his TV show would look like.
That's playing in his head before he attacks. I love this show. This is by far my favorite animation.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, even ones I've watched before I was in anime and the ones that I've been in. This is my absolute favorite.
What do you think makes it your favorite?
Well, like Dragon Ball Z, these characters are very detailed. I mean, their histories are detailed. You know a lot about them, so you get involved with them like a soap opera. But at the same time, they're so amazingly creatively designed and thought of. I mean, it's just the imagination is just amazing. I love shows like this.
That's pretty cool!
Shut your mouth, or I'll shut it for you!
How come? We're friends, right? So get on.
Hey, I see an island!
Oh, awesome! I can't wait to check it out! All right, let's go! Mary, full speed ahead!
Full speed ahead!
Outside of Usopp, who do you think is your favorite Straw Hat and why? And if you don't have one, then maybe one or two or whatever, and then kind of pick
Well,
and
like I said, I
choose, but-
love all these characters, but Chopper is an amazingly weird, wonderful character in design and approach, and I love Brina's voice on him. That's just a cool character.
Chopper seems to be a favorite amongst the Straw Hats.
Well, he's like, okay, so he's this chibi character, right? It's this cute little thing, but at the same time, he has the element of the Incredible Hulk. You can just like turn Hulk out, you know, and still has that chibi voice, which is a great choice to do that way. I just love that character, and I do. That's one of my favorite voices to hear.
Usopp's finally awake, you guys! All right, good to hear! That's one less thing to worry about. Hey, Usopp!
What sort of challenges do you face when you come in to record Usopp? What sort of emotional challenges and what sort of physical challenges?
Well, Usopp is the most difficult voice for me to do.
Okay.
You know, because like Krillin talks like this,
Mm-hmm.
but Usopp talks like Krillin with a hitch. And that little hitch in his voice hurts. Especially, I mean, not just doing this conversation, but
Right.
like when you do like 3 hours, and you understood this like pretty quickly. You
Yeah.
said, okay, Sonny, you only get 3 hours, and that's it
Yeah.
a day because you're gonna lose your voice. And you know, and every time he screams, Mike likes to say, "Well, there goes another year of your career." And he screams a lot.
Yeah, we're just going to cash it all in now. Where the end is going to be blank.
Yeah.
You're going to have lots of mute years.
Exactly.
End of my life, I'll be like this. I don't know why I'll have an accent, but
Because you're Sonny.
I am.
Let us not waste words. Hoist the signal for the counterattack. Soon we shall be reunited with our comrades!
But yeah, emotionally, this is the most emotional character I've ever had to play.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and hard to believe too, because he's like such a clown
Yeah.
on the surface. And that's another reason why I like this show. I mean, that such a clown could have such, pathos. You know, it's an awesome character to play. I mean, literally, there was a session that we were doing a few months ago, I think, and he's crying through the scene, and I actually had tears coming out of my eyes, and that's never happened at all.
Yeah.
Like on stage or anything. So.
what? It happened because I'm weak. They took all the money.
In what ways do you feel that Usopp has grown from the point in time when he's introduced to the show to this current Enies Lobby arc that we're working on?
Well, the main way that Usopp has grown is that he has gone from a guy who lives in a world of make-believe to realizing that his lies and his make-believe is actually his strength, and I could use this to overcome, situations. I mean, he uses his ability to craft stories and to study people and to know what's going to convince people of these things. I mean, I think that's how he almost beat Luffy in the fight, you know? Is because he knows him. He knows exactly about him. He studies him because he may have to lie to this guy someday. He's got to know what's going to work.
Someday.
And every day. But I think that's cool, though, that he found a way to turn his what most people would call a problem with his personality into his strength, you know? I don't know if most people would call him that, would say that.
Most people are wrong.
You're wrong, most people. You too. Camera 1, camera 2, you're both wrong.
We talked about the favorite Straw Hats. Who is your favorite villain thus far in the show? Who do you think was
Buggy, obviously.
you're a suck-up.
I'm not. That is the coolest character. It's a clown.
Yes.
It's an actual clown.
A clown pirate.
Right.
clown
Well, they're all
pirate
pirates. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's an awesome character. That's an awesome design character. None of the other. I mean, there's a lot of cool villains in One Piece, but none of them come close to Buggy. I mean, he's the Joker of this Batman series. You know.
Somewhere in the midst of my Sunny artwork, I have a Sunny drawn Buggy that looks really awesome.
Is that at a convention?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I think you and I were side by side somewhere, and you were doing commissions. I was like, make me one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. That and not just sucking up. I mean, it could have been played by anybody, and I would still say the same thing. That's a really cool character. But you do him awesome justice.
Well, thank you.
That's weird. I could have sworn I heard someone out here. Be sure to evacuate!
Evacuate Usopp!
What do you consider some of your nerdy hobbies to be? Obviously, you
All
are.
of them?
Yeah, I was like, obviously, you're a gigantic nerd like
Yeah.
myself. What are some of your top nerdy hobbies? What do you like to do in your free time? That is
well-
a nerdy hobby.
A major comic book reader.
Okay.
But these days I tend to read books that are like whatever I'm working on. Like when I was working for Tokyo Pop, I did it was in a manga style, and so that's all I read was manga because I wanted to like get the influences from it. And now I'm going more into an American style, so It's like I read manga as well as American comics. I watch a lot of Doctor Who, Supernatural, just about anything you guys do, I do. I'm a big nerd. I've been one for a long time.
Long as I've known you.
He's making me sweat thinking about how nerdy I am.
Some nerd sweat.
Yeah, this is nerd sweat right here. You can turn a child into a leprechaun.
I'm kind of amazed I finished.
Anything else you'd like to tell the One Piece fans out there?
Keep watching. This is my absolute favorite show, and I want to keep doing it, so please keep watching the show, and thank you so much for watching it.
Watching.
Watching.
With the watching.
Thank you with the watching.
Thanks for being here, man.
Thanks, brother.
Hey everybody, this is Mike McFarland, the ADR director and line producer of One Piece, and we're going to be talking with Mr. Eric Vale today. Eric, thanks for being here.
Welcome me. Hi. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I have you on a regular basis. It's just not normally in this capacity.
That's true. It's
Yeah,
a little awkward.
it's for more like recording of Sanji.
That's true. It usually is.
Tell me about Sanji. What are your thoughts on Mr. Sanji?
Sanji is one of my favorite characters to voice. Because when we first started voicing him, you told me that he is my morning voice.
Yes.
So to not really bother warming up after I wake up in the morning, that I just use that voice. So I try to not speak before I do Sanji. Mm-hmm. I just wake up and come into the booth and start talking.
From your audition, I heard something in that because I think you came in the morning. And
I did.
It's like, just get up and stretch. And since he's a smoker and et cetera, it
Right.
seems to play better.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And he's a cool character.
Yeah,
Of course, he's a cook, and I gravitate towards that.
You fancy yourself a cook?
Yeah, I cook all the time. I cook food for my family.
Like mac and cheese, or like do you cook?
No, I cook real stuff. I'm a good little house chef.
I see.
I wouldn't do it for real, like in a restaurant. That would probably kill people. So I don't want to do that.
How terribly wasteful you all are.
What's that guy up to?
He can't be. No way.
He's using all our leftover parts. Whoa.
Pulverize the tuna's bones along with its head. Next, mix in the guts. Add veggie scraps and roll the paste into balls. Then they'll be deep fried. Oiling fat trimmed from the meat until it becomes soft and tender provides the perfect complement to a sauce made from shellfish. The bitterness of the guts whets the appetite, and the powerful flavor gives new life to a tired body. This brings us to the preparation of the vegetable dish. The skins of burdock roots and potatoes contain more vitamins and minerals than their insides, which makes them an ideal nutrient source. Finally, broccoli stems can be used to create a soft, sweet-scented dressing. Voila! Cuisine à la carte!
Do you recall anything of the original audition process and the casting process and all of that time period? Maybe even the initial recordings?
I remember the first audition because I was auditioning for Zoro.
Yeah, I recall
Because
that.
I thought that was the most appropriate character for me.
Mm-hmm.
Delusional love cook.
And so I didn't know much about Sanji as a character because I didn't think that was my type.
Okay.
And if I remember correctly, I was auditioning for Zoro, and you said try Sanji as well. I
Probably.
think that's what happened.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And then I threw down for both of them. And
Boom.
then a while later, somebody said, "You're going to be Sanji." And I was like, all right, cool. I'll do that one then, I guess.
If you recall the initial stages of the recording process, we had to get, like, I guess it was 3 booths at the same time recording the show because we were having to put it on television. We have deadlines.
All right, let's rock!
You recall
Right.
having to work with the different directors and getting Sanji down in that capacity?
Yeah, and we had to play, because we were playing catch-up because we were coming in. We were doing it pretty fast because we started at season 3.
I believe
right?
so. Yes, we're on episode 144, 145, somewhere in there.
Right, so we started way into the show and then wrapped around and went back to the beginning.
Right.
So that was hard because I had, luckily I was working as a writer on the show too, so I had already familiarized myself with the show. But still, as the character, I had to know where the character had come from. So I had to go back and do some of that research, figure out how he had ramped up to where we started recording. And then, when we came back around, start him fresh when he's introduced.
I guess it'd be one of the few moments when, in working in this type of environment, when it's a little bit more like shooting a film, where it's not in sequence or in order.
Yeah, it was a little bit more like shooting a film, so. But, you know, as long as you have all the pieces, which we did, not just one piece.
It's a good joke.
Stop, just. Then, yeah, it was easy to understand where the character was and where he was going.
All right, fine! If you don't like the way your captain does things, then why don't you go ahead and get up?
Sanji!
This is going way too far. What the hell is wrong with you? If you don't watch it, you're gonna say something you can't take back.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking.
What has been your favorite moment with Sanji so far? Is there anything that stands out of something that Sanji has had to go through that really resonates with you?
The one thing that I guess really sticks, and I don't know if it's the most, I don't know, resonant thing about his character, and correct me if I'm saying it wrong, but the Baratie, where he... Baratie, thank you, where he originally started.
Yeah.
And I remember enjoying working on that. I just liked the whole environment of that place, the crazy characters that were in there. It was really heavy on the food, that whole section, and I kind of enjoyed that, working on that whole bit.
This wine must be the famous Eatroots Burgerstein. Tell me, waiter, am I right?
Not even close.
Restaurants can't exist without their customers. They're our lifeblood, so we don't want to hurt them the way you seem to keep doing.
But he deserved it. He didn't treat the food or me with respect. And he insulted all the cooks. So I simply taught him a lesson. It doesn't matter. After we feed all these men, who knows what's going to happen? I am just a simple cook, no more and no less. If someone's going hungry, it's my duty to feed them. That's all I know. What do you say? Is that wrong?
Yeah, it seems that with a lot of the One Piece characters, that backstory, where they came from and what they went through as children, is something that resonates with the viewer and the people playing the characters as well.
The brat finally wakes up. You're lucky to be alive, you know.
You!
That bag there, it's your share of it. It's some of the food that washed up. Should be about 5 days' worth. It's not much, but it's better than nothing. If you ration it out, it'll last longer.
So use your head when you eat.
Oh man, what a waste! They left behind plates and plates full of this delicious grub.
It's way gross to eat the leftovers of strangers. You should just let me throw that stuff away.
So why don't you have some? Eh?
No way!
In what ways do you feel that Mr. Sanji has grown as a character? Now, we do have One Piece as being one of the few shows, at least that I can think of, where the characters actually age a bit on screen. They do look a bit older. What has been an emotional growth for him?
The one thing I've noticed about Sanji is that there doesn't seem to be a whole lot, because he seems to be consistent. And I say that, you know, he has a couple of different gears in which he works. You know, he has his focus for the ship and what he has to do, and then he cares about what he cares about, like his friends and the crew. I would say that if there's a growth in his character, he cares more about the crew now, where we are, than he used to sometimes, you know.
Depending on the mood.
Because he's got he's a little reactionary, so sometimes they tick him off, then he's done with them, you know, which I respond to because I'm kind of like that sometimes. Not often, but sometimes. But, you know, he's pretty consistent as a character because he's the same way about, you know, his two women always. And he's the same way about his cooking always. And he's the same way about Zoro always. So I really like the consistency of his character. But the way that he grows as a character is really subtle, and it seems to be about how he cares about those who are close to him. He cares a little bit more now. Just a little bit, you know.
I made this potato pie especially for you, mademoiselle. I hope you enjoy it.
Mmm, delicious.
That makes me so happy!
Hey, let's work together for 10 seconds.
Okay, fine. But no longer.
Power shoot! Incredible! Big Pen! What?
No way!
The massive Wotan warrior!
All right!
They're headed for the gold ring! It can't be!
Besides Sanji, who would be your favorite Straw Hat? Of the regulars on One Piece, who's your favorite character? And why?
Well, you know, Zoro, probably, because he gets to carry 3 swords.
Now, 3-sword style. Karasuma. Raven.
It's really that simple.
That's a cool thing.
You know, I mean, if you can carry around 3 swords, it's kind of awesome. I don't have much more of a reason with that.
Just 3-sword style.
Yeah. You know, everybody's pretty cool, you know. Nobody really, I don't look at any character, any of the Straw Hats and go, ah, you annoy me, or you're stupid, or I don't like you.
That's the lame one.
Right, there's no lame one. But he rises to the top simply because of the swords. And there are 3 of them.
It's a solid reason.
If you can do that, you're pretty awesome. You know, I hate the voice, though. The voice actor is terrible.
Well, that was the best we could find after multiple rounds of auditions.
You did the best you can. Whatever.
Someday that guy might be good. Old Chris Sabat.
I don't think so.
Nah, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
I don't think so.
Shut up. That's enough out of you. This has nothing to do with the money.
Damn straight. It's too late for that.
Not even your bones will be left when we're done.
Do you have a message for the One Piece fans out there?
My message for the One Piece fans would be, go back to the beginning. Start at episode 1 and watch them all back to back and don't stop. Constantly. Don't do anything else with your life. Just watch One Piece. Don't eat, don't sleep, don't drink water. Just watch One Piece. And it's like a Zen thing. It's like a fasting. That's what I believe will help your life grow.
It's kind of a lot to ask. I mean, I like it a lot, but I like sleeping and eating.
They don't have to.
That's just your request.
They have free will, you know. You can or not. You know, it's really up to you.
Well, thanks so much for being here today and spending some time with us.
It's my pleasure.
Eric Vale.
That's me, apparently.
Hey everybody, this is Mike McFarlane, the ADR director and line producer of One Piece, and I have another Straw Hat Pirate with me today. For those watching, who are you and who do you play?
My name is Brina Palencia, and I play Tony Chopper.
Excellent. What are your thoughts about Tony Chopper? What are your thoughts on the character?
That he's possibly the most adorable character in all of anime.
Most adorable.
One of them, at least.
Yeah.
I think he's in like the top 5, at the very least.
Well, besides the obvious qualities, or even just, including the obvious qualities, what makes Chopper so adorable to you? What makes you have this opinion?
Well, just his character's design is definitely adorable, but I also love how naive he is, and I love how how much he just loves everyone that is his friend and how much he wants everyone to be his friend and how much he's willing to sacrifice for his friends. I think it's really sweet.
There, good. I'm sure glad this thing was still here. Now, if anything really bad happens, the Sky Knight will come save me. But I can only blow it as a last resort. Hear that? Anyone wants to take this ship, they have to get through me first! What's that?
Just one. Surely you're not the only sacrifice I get to kill.
Do you recall anything about the initial casting process and the recording process way back in the days, in the dark ages of 2007?
Yeah, definitely. It was, to this day, it's still the most intense audition process I've ever had to go through for, voice acting. And I can't even remember how many rounds there were. I think I was in 3 rounds. Normally, it's just you audition once and then you get cast or you don't. And then on occasion, there's, the whole callback. Especially when I first started out, there was the callback to make sure that I, didn't suck. But this one especially, and the fact that we got to watch video of the show too and kind of have, reference the Japanese voices, whereas usually, in auditions, it's just picture of the character, description of the character, and then some lines from the character. So it was really cool to be able to see the character in action and kind of see what we're trying to emulate.
What was it like in the earliest rounds of recording when we had to do it in more than one room with more than one director and had so much going on at the same time?
It definitely forced you to immediately get into it and immediately get into the character. It didn't give a lot of time for research, so we really had to rely totally on the directors. Because how many directors were there?
Initially, there were 3, with me being the main guy, the main in charge working. And I started off recording you guys, and I got as much time as possible, which I think was more close to a week of just me working on the show, so that I could work with the other directors and this is what we're working on for Chopper, this is what we're working on for Zorro, watch some of this, this is the feel and this is the tone of the show, this is how these characters are to be approached, before we just let everyone have at it. And then even while that was going on, I would go back over their work and cool, you got it. That's a little out of the zone of what Sanji would say, that's a little out of the zone of what Chopper would do, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I imagine that whole process was a lot more difficult for you and the other directors than for the actors. For us, it was just woo, we're working all the time on this awesome show. So it was just really fun, and it gave it sort of a heightened level of importance. It felt like we were working on something really awesome and important in a show that had to get out.
Hurry it up!
All right, I'll do it, but not because you told me to.
So it just escalated, all of the emotion and all of the love for the show.
What has been your favorite moment with Chopper so far? Anything stand out in the show, something that resonates with you emotionally?
Definitely, hands down, his origin story. I talked about that for maybe 2 months after recording it. Every time that I would talk about it, I would get really teary-eyed.
Aww.
And it was just so sweet, and it was just cool because, I got to know Chopper before doing his origin story, because we went back and recorded that. So, I got to know sort of post whenever he did trust the Straw Hats, and when he was already friends with them, and when they were already really important in his life. So it was just really cool to see, when he first started out, just, kind of hating humans and not really trusting anybody, and to see that transformation and to already know where he ended up was just kind of really sweet. And then, just the whole mushroom and everything is really intense. And
everything
sad.
with Dr. and Dr.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was so sad, and it left a really big mark on my heart forever.
Looks like you've been shot. We need to stop the bleeding right away or you're dead. Don't worry. I'll save you.
Mushroom. That's it.
What so far has been your favorite villain in the show, and why?
I think Foxy, because I just think Jonathan Brooks is hilarious. He's the one that makes me laugh the most when I hear him.
Do you remember anything through the Foxy games as far as interaction with Foxy and Chopper that really stuck out for you?
Oh, definitely. Whenever they put the Foxy, like glass
Little mask,
hat,
the mask, yeah.
it's a mask.
Yeah.
When
It's
they-
like a mask with a helmet built in, sort of, so it's a weird thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when they put the Foxy mask on him, even though I really did love Foxy, but for whatever reason, when they put the Foxy mask on Chopper, I was really upset. It was just wrong and not who Chopper is, and it really upset me a lot. But now you gave me the little figurine, so I have that at my house in a little glass case, him with the mask and everything.
Oh, the dissatisfied
Yeah.
look on his face.
So
I recall that
disgruntled.
now that you say that, because the first couple of lines that we did where Chopper had the little mask on, you were like, that is just wrong. That's wrong. He should not be wearing that mask. Take that off. You were very upset.
Yeah, it was upsetting. It's the wrong. He's a straw hat. He's not a Foxy pirate.
You guys!
All right, up there, Chopper. Enough of all that. You're one of my crew now. You need to pledge your loyalty to me. And you can start by putting on this mask.
You guys!
So, Chopper doesn't sound too much like Brina just hanging out and talking. What challenges do you face to make Chopper sound the way he does, and what do you have to focus on emotionally to get into character?
As far as just physically, I always have to make sure that, you know, I don't do a lot of screaming the day before or even after. I always try to make sure with One Piece that I only record for, 3 hours max.
2-3 hours.
Yeah, 2-3 hours. And emotionally, what's awesome about Chopper is that he is really funny. And he gets super emotional all the time, but it's still really funny. So for me, I always have to remember, Chopper does not think he's funny. It's not funny to him. It is very emotional. So what makes it funny, though, is the voice. So I just let the voice do the comedy for me, and then I just try to, genuinely connect to whatever emotion he's feeling at the time, because I think that's what ends up making it funnier, and it also gives the character more depth.
So besides Chopper, who is your favorite Straw Hat?
That's a really tough one, but I think I'm gonna have to go with Luffy.
Why Luffy?
Because he's so stupid. And he's just so loud. I just love that he's just screaming constantly, even if he's just having a regular conversation. And anytime that he eats is really funny to me. His obsession with food is really funny. And I love any kind of interaction that he has with Chopper. But I don't know, but I also really like Usopp too, because Usopp we tend to buddy up a lot. So I really do like him too. I like the three of them together. I think they're really cute together because they always end up doing something really dumb.
How do you feel that Chopper has grown, like since Chopper's introduction to where we currently are in the 270s?
The biggest change that he's made from his origin story to now, I think, is the fact that he is so trusting, and he just loves everyone. Like, as soon as he found out there are cool humans in the world and people don't bully me all the time, he just immediately turned into super naive and super like, I trust everyone, even when he probably shouldn't. But I'd say that's his biggest change.
Anything else that you'd like to say to the One Piece fans out there that are watching?
Just that you guys are awesome, and I love you, and you're some of the most supportive fans out there, and loyal, and I really appreciate that. And it's a beautiful show and really fun show, and I'm happy that it has such an awesome following.
Many
back to On the Boat, behind the scenes of One Piece. I have another Straw Hat with me today. For those watching, who are you and who do you play?
Oh my gosh, that's such a tough question.
I know.
I don't
Toughest.
know.
That's the toughest ones you're going to
I
have.
gotta go now.
Come on.
I'm Stephanie Young, and I voice Robin.
Now tell me a little bit about Robin.
You know,
What is it like playing Robin?
it's fantastic.
Yeah?
I have fallen in love with her over the years
Yeah?
that I have been voicing her. It's not often that I get to voice a character that is around for such a long period of time, that has such an interesting character arc, that
Mhm.
has so many different emotional levels that she travels through. And I love the fact that I'm just gonna be honest, she's really nice on my voice.
Yeah.
I'm a singer, and it's really nice to have a character that usually is really controlled, not too much screaming,
Mhm.
unlike my other friends on the boat.
Yes.
They're always screaming,
They got to scream a lot.
scream a lot. You know, I feel for them. But she's fantastic, and she's cool.
And she sits, as people who are now watching and witnessing, she sits very close to just your speaking voice.
She does.
Yeah.
She does.
So that's
so.
that's got to be a comfortable thing as well.
It is so nice. It is lovely. You can call me in at 10 a.m. You
Yeah.
can call me in at 4 p.m. It's all going to be good.
Get some Robin.
It's like
It's gonna sound like
Robin.
this.
Although lately, well, we've been through some challenging moments,
Mhm.
but I want to. She's so smart, and she's so collected. But then she has her moments where she gets in touch with her vulnerability, and she's just such a challenging character. I love her. I want to be her someday. Part of her.
Part of her.
Part of her.
Would
The-
you
the
take
good
Would you take the
qualities.
powers? Would those
I
be a
would-
full power?
I would take those powers.
Yeah.
You know how quickly you could get things done?
That would be awesome.
You know, you could be typing over here, cleaning over here, writing over here. You know,
Mhm.
I don't know that I would take down fleets of,
Of ships. Yeah.
But yeah, I'd take that.
All right. Ocho Blue.
What the?
Capote!
And now flip.
Perfect! Now's our chance!
Do you recall what it was like in the initial audition process and maybe the first couple of recording sessions? What are your recollections of that?
Absolutely. Well, first I remember you.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me that, this show was a big deal.
Okay.
Which was cool. And everybody was all abuzz about One Piece.
It is a big deal.
Big deal. It's true. And I thought, well, okay, I just will be happy to be in this show, honestly. But then when you told me that what characters I was reading for, I think it may have just been Robin.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember looking at her photo and then reading her character description and thinking, oh, this would be so great.
Mhm.
But I don't want to get my hopes up, And lo and behold, it all worked out. I remember the callback
Yeah.
vividly. I was actually going to the opera that night.
Okay.
And
like you do.
Yeah, like I do every night.
The opera. Must be a day ending in Y, going to the opera.
I wish. But it was a special occasion, and I just remember it was this wonderful night where I got to go in and do the callback with you, and it was really exciting, and then go off to the opera. And then maybe it was a month later? It was a long time.
There was a big window of time where we had to let Toye and everyone else who had to have a say-so in the matter sign off on the Straw Hat crew.
Yeah. And knowing that they were listening to our voices was that was a little nerve-wracking, honestly.
Mm.
But then when I found out that I was going to have the opportunity to voice her, I was so overwhelmed with gratitude. I was so excited.
I have you as well, the world's most dangerous woman. Nico Robin.
What has been your favorite moment with Robin so far, or a few of your favorite moments?
It's interesting because in the beginning, when we were recording together, she was always so calm and collected. Again, we know when we were at battle, everyone else was, "Wah!" And she was like, let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
Just very calm and cool. But lately, even starting with Annie's Lobby and moving beyond, it's been really deep and dark.
Mhm.
And I have enjoyed that as an actress so much. It's been really difficult.
Yeah.
You were there.
Yes.
No.
I was all over it. Starting somewhere in the midst of Water 7, Robin went through a whole bunch of emotional changes or emotional shifts or whatever that had not been displayed in the show before. And with that comes the shift in the way that the material is approached with the voice. There's lots of things that Robin have had to cry out, scream out, etc., etc., that Rama's normally very collected.
You know, since it was such an interesting part of the story, and after recording her for years and feeling so connected with her, as dorky as that sounds,
Mhm.
but so absolutely connected with this character, it was heartbreaking to go through these moments with her, but I didn't mind, you know, the screaming and the yelling and the crying and all
Mhm.
of that, because that was just such an interesting part of the story.
Mhm, mhm.
It was deep, deep, dark, hard stuff.
Yes.
But it's nice to see that she's opening up, that her friends have her back. They're there
Right,
for
right.
her. That whole part of the story is so touching. And I love the fact that this show, you know, not to make this an after-school special moment or anything, but
Mhm.
it is. It has these really wonderful themes of friendship and loyalty. And I love the fact that it's so quirky, it's so
Yeah.
interesting, and then it gets really dark. But throughout it all, there are these people that love each other.
Mhm.
You know, they say you can't choose your family, but you can choose your friends.
Mhm.
Your friends can become your family.
Right.
And it's become that for them.
Yeah.
And,
It's obviously a misfit family too. So the outcasts of the world and the outcasts of this world have someone to cling to and people to cling to for each other.
yeah.
You know,
Love that.
It's a nice message.
It is. It's
Yeah.
great. It's great. So at least you know when you're in the deep, dark water, you know, she gets to come out on the other side, you know, with her people.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
With the peeps.
With her peeps.
No, it's over. This is the last time you'll see me.
None of that matters! I won't stand for this! Damn Robin! It's not her fault! Of course it is, Nami! Why doesn't she want us to rescue her? It doesn't make sense!
Because she doesn't want to feel responsible for all the awful things that'll happen to our crew once we do.
I don't care about all that! If we don't rescue her, she's gonna be killed, isn't she? There's no way she wants to die, so we're gonna save her!
Well, of course she doesn't want to die, but still.
Let it go. This doesn't change what we have to do. We'll save her either way.
I'm gonna beat up every last one of them! There's a new move I want to try!
Now you briefly touched on it, especially with the changes through Water 7 and Enies Lobby.
Mm-hmm.
What sort of challenges do you face emotionally and physically when you're playing Robin? Like, what do you have to do with the mind, and what do you have to do to kind of warm up or gear up, or you know, is there a certain place where you hold your voice or hold yourself when you record?
Yes, actually, knowing where we were going to be during those days. I love coming here. I love doing this. I love this work. We have fun together.
Mm-hmm.
But in this dark part of the script, honestly, music has a big influence on me and what I do, and even what I listened to in the car coming here.
Oh yeah.
I would listen to kind of emotional stuff. I knew it was going to be dark and hard, and not that it was difficult to get there, especially when there were any flashbacks of her childhood and seeing baby Robin.
Mm-hmm.
It's so heartbreaking. It's so heartbreaking. But physically, I do have to watch it. I don't have Teflon cords where I can just scream for days.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be careful, especially I sing, and if I have to sing that night, which you were
Right.
always very considerate, always appreciated.
I try.
Fantastic, because you're a singer too.
Mm.
You get it. But so I would have to really, you know, make sure I try to give 100% each time to try to get, you know, what we needed vocally. And then sometimes you just have to let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Completely just let it go. But for me, just mentally trying to get into that place with her, that darker place, you know, that's not the easiest thing to do. But once you're in there, you know, it's well written, and the people that I was working off of are fantastic. So it's not, when you have some of those other voices there, it's so much easier to get where you need to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I just remember even afterwards with you, just there aren't that many times where I've teared up in the booth when it wasn't called for in the story.
Right.
When I've had the opportunity to work on something that I felt so emotionally connected to, that afterwards
He's a little bit drained.
it was you were drained and tired and beaten up, and it was great as an actor to be able to do that. But just the tearing up and you were too.
Yes, I was.
Which was great. But oh gosh, just leaving, had to let it go and find a happy place again. Change the music in the car.
Right, don't want to
and-
drive up. Turning.
Oh gosh, I can't. It's been a long time since that's happened with me here and
Mhm, mhm.
at Funimation, and you know, it's great. But boy, I remember I would come back and say, oh, I can't wait to get through this patch
Right.
for her.
Be back to Robin being chill.
Yeah, for Robin being, you know, she could be a warrior and she could be fighting and planning, but just this gut-wrenching arc of hers. But, you know, the fans prepared me for it in a way. I don't like to read ahead often for characters. I like to be surprised when I get in the booth. Doesn't mean I don't love the story. It's nice to come in and...
It's a fresh read, you know.
Yeah, and you haven't figured out ahead of time how you're going to be or anything like that. But from the different conventions I've been to, fans, a few different people gave me, you know, that gave me the manga for that and said, you need to read this. It was pretty great. Like, no, you need to look at this.
Yeah.
You need to know what's coming.
Right.
And I thought that was really fantastic that they cared to do that. And I remember I was on a plane after one of the conventions reading through, and I thought, oh, how sad can it be? I was just looking at her childhood,
Right.
her past.
It's
and
One Piece.
It's and then just, you know,
Straw Hat childhoods.
plane.
Those are sad things.
It will tear you to shreds.
Yes.
I'll be fine. But I need you to take care of Robin for me, please.
But why? What about you? Are you going to come with me?
Olivia, are you?
I can't leave yet. There's something left to do.
No, Mom! You can't leave me now! I'll stay here with you! I don't want to lose you again!
Robin, if you're a scholar of Ohara, you should know that history is mankind's greatest treasure. Now that it's been passed on, it will illuminate the path to your future.
How do you feel that Robin has grown? Like, since she was introduced into the show and knowing her backstory and whatever else, how do you feel that she's grown as a character?
The fact that she has learned to trust people, knowing that what she went through as a child, the horrors that she went through as a child, and then going to the dark side to struggle just to survive. You know, it's amazing how she survives, but I'm glad that she finally found a good group of people, a good group of pirates that she's with. But the fact that over time that she's learned to open up and trust them and find even her own lighter side of life come back to her. And even just voicing the character, how she was so controlled in the beginning, and now as she opens up in her trusting, she's becoming more, you know, alive and energetic and expressive. And it just amazes me that she didn't think she was worthy of any kind of love. I'm not going to cry here. But that she was worth it.
Right.
You know? And I don't know, it's pretty incredible that in the show that she was able to find some people that she could love and then feel that kind of self-worth that would be there for her. You know, I'm in space or a warrior or a scientist or all these dominating female chicks that I get to voice that I love. But just to see this side of her, as strong as she is and as powerful as she is, to go through that self-realization, it's pretty great.
Outside of Miss Robin, who would you consider to be your favorite Straw Hat and why? And if you can't pick one, then give me like one or two.
That's really hard.
I know. It's like
That's so hard.
Which of your best friends is your best
I know, really? It's picking favorite children or something.
Yeah.
Well, I love Chopper. And this is probably also, you know, influenced by the fact that Robin and Chopper have this connection. I'm also blown away with Brina Palencia and her performance as that character. He's so interesting and sweet. He's also the other academic that's on the boat with Robin, so there's definitely that connection. But then every time that I hear Colleen voice Luffy, I still can't believe it's her.
Yeah.
I can't believe that's her. It's incredible. Just as a voice actor, I'm blown away at her ability to just transform her voice into something completely different.
Yep.
And then they're all, that's so hard. That's so hard because all the actors on the show are just fantastic. I'm just thankful to be in the group. But they're just such fantastic actors. And of course, you know, Zoro's attitude is a whole lot of fun. It's hilarious. I love the episodes when, you know, whenever Robin is challenging him or, you know, bossing him around a little bit. Who doesn't want to boss around Chris Sabat? Just a little bit.
Yes, it's fun to do that.
It's fun. Everyone is amazing. You know, Sunny Screaming is I'm gonna name all of them.
Yes,
this
you
is
are.
So difficult.
I'm watching you do it.
sorry. I'll stop. I think they're all incredible. They are. And I'm glad that I actually know these people in real life, you know.
Yeah.
So they're friends, and it's nice to see them, you know, do their work on the show for all these years to be able to work together. So I can't.
Indeed. Hard to pick.
Having second thoughts now? It's too late for that.
Anything else you'd like to say to the One Piece fans out there?
Absolutely. You guys are amazing. And whenever I get the wonderful opportunity to meet you, I love it. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the love. I know that we all feel it. And we just can't wait to continue going on this journey with you. So, thanks.
Well, thanks so much for being here.
Be here.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of On the Boat, behind the scenes of One Piece. Today we have yet another of our glorious cast. Who are you, sir?
I'm Patrick Seitz.
And who do you play?
I play Frankie, a.k.a. Cuddy Flam.
Cuddy Flam.
But mostly Frankie.
Is that so? All right then. Straw Hat Luffy. When I find you, I'm gonna rip you apart.
Tell me about Frankie.
Frankie is so awesome. I feel like Frankie is the culmination of my entire anime career.
Okay.
Distilled into one character. He is a shipwright who is a cyborg with a blue pompadour and a Hawaiian shirt and Popeye arms, who wears a Speedo, who has all various attacks because he's a cyborg and has a fridge in his stomach where he keeps cola that he runs off of. And scene. Where do you go from there?
Yeah, that is pretty awesome. Especially when you list it all out like that.
Yeah, it's impressive.
I got a bone to pick with you, kid. It seems you and your gang had a little party at my place while I was gone. When I came home now, what did I see? My house is ripped to shreds and my gang was on its knees, and it's all thanks to Luffy. I'll make this as plain as can be. When you mess with my boys, you mess with Frankie. I'd hate to be you right now, 'cause I'm on one hell of a roll this week, and ain't nobody gonna stop me! Now you can cry if you like, but either way, I'm gonna pound you so hard even your own mother won't recognize you when I'm done!
Do you recall what it was like in the initial stages of working on the show? Do you remember the audition process, and do you remember the first couple of recordings? For you, there's been a big break on the recordings as well.
Yes, I feel like I was sort of frozen in a glacier, as it were. I was in with you working on Mushishi, and you said, well, we have these characters coming up, and it's for a game, and take a crack at them, and if you get one, you have to come right back, like literally right back. And I said, okay. And
'cause you fly in to work for us from Los Angeles.
Yes. The West Coast. No. Yeah, and so read for it, and then I think I got the call from you like 2 or 3 days after I got home that I got. So I came right back, and we did the game for the Wii.
Yeah. What were the initial recording sessions like? Because since it was a game, you didn't get necessarily a lot of background, like working on the show. You see where Frankie came from, and you kind of get used to him. What was it like being thrown into the recording process?
It's very, I mean, as you know, on the games, like you said, you just go in, you do it, you get a little bit of character art, but you really don't get that same sense of the character as you do in a show, where you're spending all these moments with them in sequential order. I mean, most of it was doing his various attacks, and then there were a few cutscenes, but that was basically it. So it was this weird little sort of taste of, you know, future Frankie to come, and then stepped away from it for half a decade.
Yeah, it's quite a while.
Yeah, it was fun, but it was I've never had anything like that where it's like, okay, here's a little bit, and now wait.
And we'll see you in 5 years.
Yeah. Into the time capsule you go, Sights. No!
Now, since the point in time when you've picked it back up and we've begun recording again, what have been a couple of your favorite moments with Frankie? Were either fun to track or like fun with the outcome of how everything turned out? What do you think?
It sounds like such a cop out to say every moment, but his just coming in to record on him. I mean, that it's finally gotten to the point where he's around, and he's just so much fun.
Yeah.
I'm always feeling very grateful to be working on whatever it is, but this show is so big and so broad and so larger than life, and the character designs are all cranked up to 11, and it's about pirates. I mean, really, it could be Frankie doing his income taxes, and I'd still think, wow, this is fun. This is income taxes, but through that, like, filter of One Piece.
There's nothing easy about any of this. Yeah.
I see what you did there.
I did. I did the thing.
Flip. Frankie, hire a tax consultant.
Yes.
I've really, one thing I've been getting used to with One Piece is just how long a moment will take, how long a fight will take. This is the first time I've had a character of significant size in a show like this where things really take a while to happen. So, like the fight with Fukuro just goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
And I'm loving it with all the Choppapas.
Yes.
I crack up with the Choppapas.
It is fun stuff. And these two arcs kind of are notorious for dragging it out a little bit. Enies Lobby much more so than Water 7, but still, both of these are like, but it's fun because it's a darker, more dramatic time frame in the One Piece canon.
It's so much fun. The stuff with the train, the flashbacks with Tom, and the whole, but everyone's so good too. I mean, I'm coming in as the new guy, but to hear the other members of the cast who have been chugging away at this for ever, seemingly. I mean, they sound so good.
Well, that kind of brings me to another question then. Especially since you've heard so many of them around you now, who is your favorite Straw Hat? If you had to pick one, and if you can't pick one, then give me a couple and tell me why.
It's not even a matter of favorite, because I'm sure that, again, making this question impossible to answer, I'm sure once I've heard all of them sufficiently, they will all be my favorite. I will gush about all of them, but so far I've gotten to hear the most of Usopp. I heard a lot of, and I was, he's hilarious, and in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, wow, Sonny, you've got some toughness. Like, I mean, just the amount of screaming, the amount of energy that he is bringing to this, and that everyone's bringing to this.
Yeah,
I mean, everything is 11 nearly all the time. It's mostly been me hearing Usopp and being impressed, and then me hearing a little bit of Chopper and just laughing my butt off every time.
Cute little Chopper.
Robin!
Yes.
You must be exhausted, not to mention hot in that fur coat.
It's not a fur coat!
Whoa, I'm sorry. Let me make it up to you. Would a candy apple be a good start?
What's a candy apple? Is it sweet?
What challenges do you feel you faced, like, emotionally and physically when you play Frankie?
I'd say with Frankie, it's mostly just the energy level being cranked up so high, and with me knocking out long days of One Piece, just without making the most sense of me coming in from out of town. You know, it doesn't make any sense for me to do 2 hours here, 2 hours there. It's come in and, be a voiceover Viking for all day or 2 days straight, which is fine. I love it. I realize that's, that is the gauntlet has been thrown down, so it's fun to be able to do that.
Back in the DBZ days.
Exactly.
That was all we did.
Well, and coming into it too, I thought to myself, man, like all these guys came up doing that. I can't be like, I've got the vocal fatigue.
Oh, three hours.
Right? But I think, thinking back on the recording sessions we've had so far, I think my voice has generally held up pretty well as far as we've gotten through all this stuff. I don't think Frankie has torn me up as much as Fairy Tail did the one time. So that's still the current champ. Mostly that. I mean, it's easy to match the energy when everyone else is doing it. It's not like he's the only over-the-top one and everyone else is small. So
it helps if the party's already loud.
Yeah, they are
you
already.
Can come in and party.
They've already been rocking out. So it's easy to jump in and match that. Basically just that. I mean, he's really open. He doesn't seem terribly tortured. He's a lot of fun. So it is just we've got yay many hours to get through. I'm going to make sure I bring my cough drops and drink some tea and get adequate sleep and do all those life maintenance things I should be doing anyway.
Yeah, fuel on cola.
I like to be method.
All right, Frankie hasn't been on the show terribly long as far as the timeline of the show and the releases that we have. But in the time that he's been on screen and you have been providing the voice, how do you feel that Frankie as a character has grown? And not just physically, like with more iron and cybernetic parts and stuff.
Extra legs.
Yeah.
Well, I think especially the stuff that he was doing with Usopp, where he was so dead set on breaking up the ship, and then finally came around to realize, like, oh, that wasn't terribly sensitive of me. Maybe I should have put myself in Usopp's shoes a little bit more about this whole thing instead of just trying to break the ship into pieces. I definitely think that was a little bit of character arc for him, and then seeing this stuff, the flashback stuff with him being young and when he's helping Tom, and the stuff with Tom is just tough, because especially with the harpoon, and the whole time Tom is talking, he's got the harpoon stuck in him that Frankie made, and he made the battle Frankies that have been used for evil. So Frankie's got some baggage.
That's what the government did to us. They used your creations to hurt a lot of people we care about. And now they're gonna put the blame on us. They want to back Tom into a corner so they can get those blueprints. After all this, you still think your hands don't have blood on them? If Tom gets taken away, if he hangs for this, I swear on my life, I will never forgive you! Never, you understand?
Stop it!
Tom.
It's not his fault. Don't blame him. He didn't do this.
You still believe that after everything that happened?
Oh no. This is one of the special harpoons I made. Once it pierces its target, you can't pull it out. I'm so sorry.
Don't apologize. It's barely even a scratch.
I have some Frankie merchandise.
You do? What Frankie merch do you have?
I have. I got a figure of him a couple years ago at AX. I wasn't going to because I didn't want to jinx it. It was the time in between recordings.
Right.
A lot can happen.
Anything could happen.
Yeah.
Sure.
But it was a good deal, and it was so awesome looking. I just got to say, like, if I were a collector of figures in general, and not just like a narcissistic voice actor who gets his own characters, One Piece would bankrupt me.
Yeah.
Because all the character design is so eclectic that all the figures look unique.
Yeah, the sculpted the figures. I've seen several of that size.
Yeah,
that entire run of them are really sharp looking.
It's not like some shows where it's like, okay, same body, different face, same body, different color hair. It's drastically different body, drastically different body. So I picked up that one, and then when we finally hit the stuff with Frankie now in the show, I allowed myself to get one of him from later on.
Okay.
A variant body. And then I've got a little like Frankie keychain and whatnot. It's
excellent.
I'm that guy.
Like you do.
Like you do. It hangs in my car. It's like little Frankie sitting on the ship with his fists out, like, yeah! Helps me get through traffic.
Yeah, helps you to be super.
That took some doing, as I remember. When we first started hitting the supers and his little like ow sounds to make it sound sassy and not painful. I think we got it. We locked into it, but I remember it was a process of discovery.
Yes, we all learned things.
Ow! 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 200 million? Yes! 200 million!
What do you think, bro? Awesome, right?
Incredible. You guys are amazing. Now that we have this much money, we'll be able to get what we've always wanted.
Anything special you'd like to say to the One Piece fans out there?
Well,
these people.
You picked an awesome show to be a fan of. I mean, I say that as someone who is still sort of getting himself immersed in it, but I can tell, even from the little nibbles and bits and pieces I've had, that you have backed the right horse, so to speak. Thank you guys, in this case, with the One Piece, and just in general for your enthusiasm, because really, and I know it sounds trite when people say that in the entertainment business, but really with something as niche as anime, we couldn't do what we do without you guys. I mean, literally, we could not do it. I would be doing something else in life, and maybe I would like it, but it wouldn't be this. So I'm glad that we have this beneficial relationship where we can give you something that you enjoy, and you can give us this experience of making it for you. So thank you very much. And if anyone wants to give me the Cliff Notes version to get me caught up, that'd be cool.
Well, thanks so much for being here, man.
Yeah!